Yulikiy was staring straight ahead, but it was like he wasn't seeing anything at all. The world around him had vanished. There was only one thought echoing in his mind. Did she actually drink the poison? His chest tightened. His thoughts raced like boiling water in a teapot. Just like his mother. She'd said everything was fine too, and then she was gone. The shock broke as suddenly as it had come. He rushed to Medi, grabbing her hand, trembling as if he had just swallowed the poison. Damn it, I knew it. You're insane. How much time has passed? Don't move. Stay right here. I'm calling a doctor. His voice was high with panic. Medi froze for just a second. She felt how tightly Yulikiy was clutching her hand, how his fear buzzed through him. And then, without a word, she hugged him, tightly, warmly, calmly. Breathe, Yulikiy, she said softly. I'm not going to die. My body can handle it. That poison might be deadly for someone else, but not for me. I'm alive, and I'm staying that way. He didn't understand why, but the second she said it, the weight lifted off him. She was here, warm, breathing. In that moment, there were no dukes, no palaces, no poison plans, only her voice. Medi pulled back slightly but kept holding his hand. Her eyes were serious, but there was a playful glint in her smile. Don't show weakness, she murmured. People are always watching. Got it. I'll be fine. I'll come back to the palace soon. Yulikiy blushed. People, who was watching? The servants? Spies? Or maybe it was just her gut feeling. Maybe she was holding his hand for someone else to see. Or maybe for him to feel it. He straightened his back, slipping back into his composed Duke mode, even though his cheeks were burning. Then he leaned in, lips nearly brushing her ear. Don't forget your coat, he whispered. It's cold outside, and take care of yourself. His breath warmed her neck. Light, unexpected, and somehow right. Something fluttered inside Medi. It felt like this had already happened in another life, another story. Yulikiy realized he'd gone too far and quickly stepped back, practically ran. Medi stayed behind, watching him go with a little smirk. Then she muttered to herself, half amused, half exasperated. Does that guy not have any friends? I just gave him a hug, and he's already trying to kiss me. The soft, uneasy twilight was settling over the city. The air smelled of smoke, damp stone, and cheap fish soup. Medi stood in front of an old, weathered door, the kind that creaked before you even touched it. She knocked once, then again, and waited, silence. Suddenly, the door flung open, and there stood a red-haired boy with wild hair and a stained shirt. Medi, he shouted, like he'd just seen a ghost. It's really you. Come in quick. What's with the nighttime visits and no warning? I thought it was some drunk collapsing at my door again. I was followed, she said quietly as she stepped inside. If anyone finds out I came here, you might be in danger. The redhead froze. His eyes widened. Followed. And you just brought them here. You're insane, sis. He rolled his eyes, then sighed. Though honestly, that tracks. If I disappeared on them, she waved a hand like shooing flies, they'd get suspicious. Let them think they're in control. You know, he muttered. I really should be used to this by now. You never play by the rules. What's next? You're gonna tell me you're actually engaged to that Duke? He blurted, his eyes lighting up with disbelief. I thought it was just a joke, but you seriously pulled off that kind of con? Nox, Medi sighed. He stopped and his face fell, like a little boy watching his favorite stuffed toy being tossed off a balcony. Wait, it's not a con? Let's just say, things are a little more complicated than they look. She dropped into an old chair and looked straight at him. And I haven't told you everything yet. Nox, her little brother. Well, little was a stretch now. He was almost grown, already taller than her on bad days, but still the same red-headed street rat she'd picked up years ago. 7 years, to be exact. Back then, he was thinner than a shadow, all sharp elbows, sunburnt cheeks, and scabbed knees. He lived in an abandoned print shop, ate whatever didn't run away, and stole like it was an Olympic sport. She remembered the day they met like a scene from an old black and white movie. He just snatched a wallet from an old gentleman's coat, and she had snatched it right out of his hands, slapped him across the head with a rolled-up newspaper, and handed the wallet back. You steal too, the boy had shouted, fuming with outrage. I'm an artist, she'd replied coolly. You're just sloppy. Then, more seriously, before you take from someone, look at them. That man was buying a doll for his daughter. His shirt was patched, his shoes were falling apart. He probably spent a year saving up. So what? He'd muttered. She crouched down to meet his eyes. If you're gonna steal, she'd said, steal from those who won't even notice. Steal from the ones who already have too much. And do it with style. Do it smart. That was the day she stopped being a lone trickster. That scrawny, stubborn, foul-mouthed brat became her fiercest ally. She taught him everything she knew, and maybe even a few things she made up just for him. And now, that same street rat was her only family, and maybe the only person in the world who knew what kind of game she was really playing. Sis, Knox narrowed his eyes like a detective in a cheap noir film. Are you planning to rob the Duke all by yourself? Or is there some mystery partner you forgot to tell me about? Medi didn't answer. Her gaze turned dark, thoughtful. Out of all the con artists she'd known, Knox had the best instincts, sharp as glass. He could sniff out trouble or a gullible noble from a mile away. And that was exactly why she didn't want him involved in this mess. Poisons, palaces, plots. He deserved better than this snake pit. But before she could say a word, the boy grabbed her by the shoulders and started shaking her like a dusty old rug. Please, come on, let me help. Just this once. He whined. I want to pull off something big too. Something grand. His eyes were shining with that manic sparkle, like a starving cat who just spotted a bowl of cream. Medi endured the performance for a full 5 seconds. Then grabbed his wrist and barked, sit down. Startled, Knox dropped into the nearest chair like a guilty schoolboy. Medi took a slow breath in. Listen carefully. I don't want you involved. This job, it's more than just lies. Sometimes people die, and I am not going to teach you how to take a life. That's where I draw the line. He opened his mouth and shut it again. Smart boy. And no one must know about my deal with Yulikiy, she thought. Then added aloud, but yes, Knox, I'm really marrying him. Silence. Knox stared at her like she'd just announced she'd grown wings. You've completely lost your mind, he exploded. A duke, marriage, a real duke. Are you planning to charm him, rob him blind, and ditch him at the altar? Knox, Yulikiy loves me, she said calmly. The words fell like a stone into still water. He loves you? Knox looked like he was trying to solve a math problem with missing variables. Does he even know about the cons? The pickpocketing? The dirty jobs? Medi nearly laughed, nearly. But for theatrical effect, she dropped her eyes and blushed just slightly, playing the part of a shy, blushing bride. He knows almost everything, Medi said calmly, and he still wants to be with me. He knows I'm complicated. Complicated? Knox practically exploded. You're not complicated. You're impossible. When you're in a good mood, you steal. When you're in a bad one, you punch people. Medi sighed. And still, he wants me. And I want to try. But Knox wasn't done. Look, I did a little digging after I heard about your so-called marriage. He scooted closer, lowering his voice like some back alley informant. Yulikiy Kuan Londines, the only son of the late prince. The Kuan title means he's the heir by blood. But when his parents died, his uncle, Laffit Paragon Londines, stole the throne. Since then, Yulikiy's been in exile, wandering the slums, gambling, drinking. He paused dramatically. But get this, there's not a single dirty rumor about him. No women, no bastard kids. Just a lonely kind man. And you want to finish him off? That was it. Medi picked up the nearest pillow, or maybe a slipper, or maybe just her foot, and promptly thwacked him right in the gut. Knox doubled over with a groan. I'll see. Always punished for telling the truth. He gasped, clutching his stomach. You're gonna ruin this guy's life. Knox wailed, waving his arms like a prophet warning of doom. You're a horrible person. Just horrible. Medi breathed, once and twice, but on the third breath, she snapped. Her eyes sparked like someone had just struck a match in a room full of gas. Yes, she hissed. I'm marrying him. And yes, maybe I'm horrible. But if you say that one more time, I'll give you a life so miserable, you'll shave your head and beg to join a monastery. Got it? She grabbed the wine bottle from the shelf, twisted off the cork, and drank straight from the neck like a true duchess of the slums. Then, wiping her lips with the back of her hand, she added, calmer now. By the way, I got a job for you. Knox froze, still a little shaken, but definitely intrigued. I need you to dig up everything on a certain backstabbing old rat. Name's Count Montenendo, my fiancé's dear uncle. I want it all. Who he's married to, how many kids he has, who he's sleeping with, where he keeps his secrets, and what he's most afraid of. Knox raised an eyebrow. Aren't you supposed to? I don't know, befriend the guy. He's family now, right? Medi slowly set the bottle on the table, letting the silence stretch. There was a dangerous glint in her eyes now, cold and metallic. That slippery bastard tried to do something very bad to Yulikiy. Very bad. And Yulikiy is mine. Wait. Knox gulped. You mean, he went after your love? My money. Genius. Medi snorted. He touched what's mine. And for that, he'll pay. Her voice dropped, smooth, even freezing cold. The whole room felt like it lost 5 degrees. Knox stiffened. All he ever wanted was a little drama, some juicy secrets, a few close calls, Doc. But in that moment, for the first time, he realized something. His adopted sister wasn't just a clever thief. She was dangerous, very dangerous. And Count Montanindo, he had no idea what was coming.